Failures feel massive when they're happening, embarrassing, career ending, reputation destroying. Like everyone's watching and judging and remembering every mistake. But here's the reality. Nobody cares about failures once success arrives. The moment someone wins, all the losses get rewritten as part of the journey. The failures become inspirational. The setbacks become proof of resilience. The mistakes become lessons that made success possible. Think about anyone successful, anyone at all. Ask about their failures, and most people drop a blank because the failures didn't matter. The wins overshadowed everything that came before. We don't often hear the many times someone got rejected, how many businesses failed, how many attempts didn't work, how many years were spent struggling. All of that disappears once the breakthrough happens. The narrative changes completely from they're struggling to they are inspiring, from they keep failing to they never gave up, from maybe they should quit to they always believed. Same person, same story, different endings. So all this energy spent worrying about what people think of current failures is wasted. They won't remember. They won't care. The moment success shows up, the past gets reframed as necessary struggle instead of embarrassing failure. But here's what stops most people. They treat failures like verdicts instead of data points, like permanent labels instead of temporary setbacks, like proof they're not good enough instead of proof they are still learning. Every failure is just information. It shows what doesn't work, what needs adjustment, what wasn't ready. That's all. But taking failures personally turns them into emotional weight, into reasons to quit, into evidence that success isn't possible. And that's the trap. Because the people who eventually win failed just as much, probably more. They just didn't let failure become their identity. They failed and kept moving, got rejected and kept trying, made mistakes and kept learning. And eventually, all those failures became footnotes in a success story instead of chapters in a quitting story. The failure rate doesn't change between those who make it and those who don't. The response to failure changes. One group quits because failure feels too heavy to carry. The other group keeps going because they understand failure is temporary, but quitting is permanent. And years later, when success arrives, nobody asks about the failures. Nobody cares how many times things didn't work. Nobody remembers the embarrassing moments or the public mistakes or the times that giving up made sense. They only see the result. And suddenly, all those failures that felt devastating at that time don't matter at all. So carrying the weight of past failures into every new attempt is pointless. They're not coming with. The moment success shows up, they get left behind. The only question is whether quitting happens before that moment arrives. Negative self-talk runs constantly for most people. A voice that questions every move, doubts every decision, criticizes every outcome, predicts every failure. Not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, too late, too old, too far behind. Everyone else is better. This won't work. Why even try? That voice feels like truth, like realistic assessment, like protection from disappointment. But it's not truth. It's fear disguised as logic, insecurity pretending to be wisdom. And left unchecked, that voice becomes the loudest opinion. It drowns out ambition, overrides courage, paralyzes action. Because if the internal voice says something's impossible, why attempt it? But But here's what that voice doesn't account for. It's always been wrong before. Every past success happened despite that voice saying it wouldn't. Every previous achievement occurred while that voice predicted failure. The voice has a perfect track record of being unreliable. Yet, it still gets trusted, still gets listened to, still gets used as a reason to quit or not start. Pushing through negative self-talk isn't about positive affirmations or forced optimism. It's about recognizing that the voice isn't providing accurate information. It's providing fearful speculation. And decisions based on fearful speculation create fearful results. Playing small because the voice says playing big won't work. Avoiding risk because the voice says risk leads to failure. Staying comfortable because the voice says discomfort isn't worth it. That voice doesn't want growth. It wants safety. And safety means staying exactly where things are familiar. Never attempting anything uncertain. Never risking failure or embarrassment or being wrong. But growth and safety are incompatible. Growth requires attempting things without guaranteed outcomes, risking failure, being uncomfortable, proving the negative voice wrong through action instead of belief. The voice won't stop. It'll keep running commentary on every decision, keep predicting disaster, keep suggesting retreat. That's its function, to protect through caution. But it doesn't need to be obeyed. It can be acknowledged and ignored. The voice says this won't work. Noted. Do it anyway. That's the override. Not silencing the voice, just refusing to let it make decisions. Because every person who achieved something significant had the same voice, the same doubts, the same negative predictions. The difference is they moved anyway. They let the voice talk while their actions proved it wrong. And over time, the voice gets quieter, not because it stops, but because its predictions keep failing to come true. It said the risk wouldn't pay off. It did. It said the goal was impossible. It wasn't. It said failure was permanent. It wasn't. Eventually, the voice loses credibility. Still present, still commenting, but no longer controlling decisions. And that's when real progress accelerates, when actions are based on goals instead of fears, on potential instead of limitations, on evidence instead of anxious speculation. Most people spend decades investing in their worst self, years building habits that limit potential, reinforcing patterns that create mediocrity, strengthening behaviors that guarantee dissatisfaction. 20 years of taking the easy path, 20 years of avoiding discomfort, or 20 years of choosing immediate gratification over long-term growth. 20 years of listening to the negative voice, 20 years of playing small. Then something rearranges, a moment of clarity, a decision to change, a commitment to become better. And suddenly there's effort, there's discipline, there's sacrifice. For 2 months, maybe 6, then frustration sets in. Why isn't this working? Where are the results? This is taking too long. 2 months of effort trying to undo 20 years of investing in the wrong direction and expecting it to be even, expecting equal results, expecting the new path to immediately override the old one. That's not how this works. 20 years of investment compounds. It creates deep patterns, strong habits, established neural pathways. That doesn't disappear in weeks or months. It takes time to redirect, time to rebuild, time to establish new patterns strong enough to override the old ones. But most people quit during that rebuilding phase. They gave their worst self 2 decades of consistent investment and their best self 2 months of inconsistent effort, then concluded the best self isn't worth it because results didn't match the timeline. The imbalance is absurd. The worst self got years of compounding. The best self got weeks of testing. Real change requires investment that matches the depth of what's being changed. Surface level effort can't transform deep rooted patterns. Casual commitment can't override years of opposite behavior. The best self needs time, consistent time, extended time, not perfect time, not flawless execution, just sustained effort over periods that actually allow new patterns to establish. If the worst self got 20 years, then the best self deserves at least 20 months of genuine commitment before evaluation, probably longer, because undoing 2 decades of one direction while building momentum in another doesn't happen quickly. But there's good news. The best self doesn't need 20 years to show results. It just needs enough time for compound effect to start working, for new habits to feel natural, for different choices to become automatic. That might be 6 months, might be a year, might be 2 years, but it's not 2 weeks. And giving up after 2 weeks because transformation hasn't occurred is just choosing the worst self again. Every day is an investment in one version or the other. The worst self gets fed by comfort, avoidance, instant gratification, and negative self-talk. The best self gets fed by discipline, courage, delayed gratification, and intentional action. Most people feel the worst self daily and the best self occasionally, then wonder why the worst self dominates. The investment determines the outcome. The choice is active. Not making a choice is still a choice. It's choosing the default. And the default, built over years of previous choices, is usually the worst self. Building the best self requires active, intentional, sustained investment, not perfect investment, just more investment than the worst self is getting. More days choosing growth over comfort. More moments choosing discipline over convenience. More decisions aligned with who someone wants to become instead of who they've been. That investment compounds slowly, imperceptibly at first, but eventually, the best self becomes stronger than the worst self. The new patterns override the old ones. The better version becomes the default instead of the exception, but only with time, real time, committed time, not the casual 2 months given as a test while expecting miracle transformation. Nobody will remember the failures once winning starts. The losses become irrelevant. The mistakes become lessons. The struggles become inspiration. All of it gets reframed the moment success arrives. The negative voice will always be there, predicting failure, suggesting retreat, questioning worth, but it doesn't need to control decisions. It can talk while action proves it wrong. It can speculate while results demonstrate otherwise. And time investment matters. 20 years building the worst self can't be undone with 20 days building the best self. The best self deserves real time, sustained effort, consistent investment over periods that actually allow transformation. All three of these connect. The fear of failure feeds the negative voice. The negative voice justifies investing in the worst self, and investing in the worst self guarantees more failures. It's a cycle that keeps people stuck. Breaking that cycle requires understanding, that failure is temporary, the voice is unreliable, and the best self needs time to develop. None of that is complicated, but all of it is difficult because it requires moving forward while carrying doubt, investing in change while results are invisible, trusting the process while the negative voice screams otherwise. But that's the requirement. That's what separates those who transform from those who stay stuck. Not talent, not circumstances, not luck, just the willingness to fail without quitting. Ignore the negative voice and invest real time in becoming better. The failures won't matter when success shows up. The negative voice will be proven wrong with results, and the time invested in the best self will compound into a completely different life. But all of that requires staying in the game long enough for it to happen, long enough for the losses to become lessons, long enough for the voice to lose credibility, long enough for the investment to pay off. That's the path. Not easy, not quick, but real, and available to anyone willing to keep moving despite failures, override the negative voice, and give the best self the time it deserves. If this video was helpful to you at all, then please like, subscribe, and comment down below which message resonated with you the most.